Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to the maiden edition of NamRA Kachenu. Stated differently, NamRA Today or NamRA Now. It is this platform where we highlight tax, customs and excise matters as they relate to you. I am Yaruke Kurondroka, keeping you company. It has been 19 months since the establishment of NamRA. Staff engagements remains a priority, and the IMF concludes training on processes. Later in the show, the NamRA Commissioner talks about the agency's mandate, vision, and some major projects. Now that's this edition of NamRA Kachenu. In August 2013, Cabinet approved the establishment of the Namibia Revenue Agency, which was further augmented by the passing of an Act of Parliament, Act number 12 of 2017. Now, on the 7th of April 2021, the Namibia Revenue Agency was established, taking over the responsibilities previously performed by the Department of Inland Revenue and the Directorate of Customs and Excise. In the next insert, we'll look at that transition process.
The Namibia Revenue Agency, NamRA, is the nation's state revenue collecting authority, established by an Act of Parliament to administer the Namibian tax, customs and excise laws. NamRA took over the functions previously under the Ministry of Finance from the 7th of April 2021. Our work is to assess and collect taxes and duties on behalf of the state, to receive and record all state revenue on behalf of the state, and to facilitate legitimate trade at the Namibian borders, amongst others.
It is now my pleasure to declare the Namibia Revenue Agency officially inaugurated.
NamRA, serving with passion.
NamRA prioritizes staff engagement as a way to ensure staff cohesion. Now, the latest engagement was held earlier this month, and at the reporting period, about 600 employees were appointed. However, that number was expected to hit 1,000 by the end of the month.
We have 655 employees on board that have been hired and accepted the offers. 655. Over 450 are from what you call legacy department, the Ministry of Finance. We have around 447 that are in the process of being recruited. I'm sure Commissioner at the Commissioner table, there's around about 60 plus. I have another 16 in my office. We're just running through it. And I have another. We're still finalizing another group. It should be in the Commissioner office as well. The process is becoming a bit tight because we need to make sure that everybody get on board.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, recently facilitated training on process re-engineering. Now here follows some of the highlights from that training.
We just had this session with our partner, IMF. The main idea really is to make it easier for taxpayers to comply with their obligations. We want to simplify the processes and make it convenient for taxpayers to transact with NamRA. So we're focusing on, first, the registration, where we want to make it as efficient as possible. When taxpayers apply for registration, they don't have to wait long. But we also want to know about all our taxpayers. We want every taxpayer to have a TIN. We want every trader to have a TIN. And we want to be able to validate this information with third parties, such as Ministry of Home Affairs and such as BIPA. Equally, we looked at the filing. At this point in time, we're promoting online filing. The main idea is to do away with the papers to make sure that every taxpayer has access to our online facilities or is at least assisted with access when it comes to online filing. So we are very big on this, and this is what we're promoting. And finally, what we looked at was then the payment, the process that we want to make convenient for taxpayers so that once they pay, the money reflects right away on their account. So these are some of the processes that we intend to re-engineer, and we are working on this with our partner, the IMF.
Thank you for remaining tuned in to NamRA Kachenu. Now, on the 7th of April 2021, President Hage Geingob launched the Namibia Revenue Agency. It has been 19 months since inception. Now, here to talk to us about that journey is the NamRA Commissioner, Sam Shivute. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Stephen, for inviting me to NamRA Kachenu studio. Thank you, I'm very happy to be here.
And we are going to start there, NamRA Kachenu. Why?
Well, NamRA Kachenu, we have one of our responsibilities as a revenue agency is to communicate and to engage our stakeholder, to educate and empower taxpayers. And we felt that we needed to create our own audio-visual content platform so that we can communicate our message. We are happy with our communication in different platforms and also in local medias, but we just felt that it's always important for one to have your own platform because you can never over-communicate.
So what are the objectives then? What are the things that you want to attain with this? How would you know that you have been successful with this platform?
Okay, how would I know that you will be successful with this platform is that what we have noted at NamRA is that we have a lot of content, and we have an obligation to ensure that taxpayers, they are educated about their rights, about their obligation, and also about the tax system, about tax laws. And also there's just a lot that need to be communicated to the taxpayer. And we want to communicate that on our own term. We want a situation whereby taxpayers are of the view that, yes, we are properly empowered and given all the necessary information that NamRA have decided to share with us without limitation. Mm-hmm. And when you do that through other people's platforms, sometimes you can be limited because time is money. And we have just felt that because we have noted that there's so much to do, there's so much to share, and we have that content, we have then decided that let's create NamRA Kachenu. And NamRA Kachenu, that is where taxpayer will be getting more information about tax system and tax law in Namibia.
We said it's been 19 months since your inception. Let's reflect on that.
Yes, it's been 19 months, very, very busy 19 months, and a lot of work to be done. But that 19 months have been guided by our vision, a vision to be a world-class revenue agency, serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian. Now, as you rightly put it, that NamRA was launched on the 7th of April by His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob. And with that launch, we have then decided that we have to develop and have our strategic plan with 6 strategic objectives. And with that, then there are 4 strategic pillars that we have focused on. We wanted to focus on ensuring that we have the right people in the right position. We wanted to focus on ensuring that our systems are properly upgraded and optimized. We also wanted to focus on ensuring that our processes are re-engineered so that we cut out all the unnecessary inefficiency and bureaucracy. And of course, the 4th pillar is that one of organizational culture, where we want NamRA staff, NamRA employees to be guided by the 5 values of NamRA. Those value of integrity being our #1 value, the value of diversity, the value of fairness, efficiency, and agility. And NamRA, our message is very clear to say that there would be 0 tolerance of corruption within NamRA. Now, by the 7th of April 2021, we only had about 4 permanent employees by then. But I'm very happy to tell you that as we are talking now, 655 permanent employees has been recruited, and about 466 undergoing recruitment process, and appointment letter will be will be signed soon upon vetting. So we have made good progress with regard to getting the right people in the right position. And then with regard to the system, like I told you, our two key systems, you have the integrated tax administration system, and of course the ASCUDA system, which is a custom administration system. Now the ASCUDA system is being upgraded so that it's properly upgraded and optimized so that it can be comparable to other systems that you can find at the world-class revenue authority in other jurisdictions like the UK, South Africa, Mauritius, the United States of America, and so on. And that is really where we are aiming to go. Then we've also acquired our ERP system, enterprise resource planning system that deals with our human capital issue and accounting. And the processes, last week we just finished our final meeting with IMF, where after having re-engineered our process, we have determined that to be processes. And very soon we will go through the change management process to make sure that our staff are trained in the new processes, and we will then implement. And of course the culture issue, you may have noted that over the past 5 months, about 43 cases, criminal cases, has been opened against those who have been defrauding the state revenue, getting refunds that they are not entitled to. More than four suspects have been arrested. So we're making good progress in ensuring that we have the culture that we want within NamRA.
What has been the greatest pain during this period? What's that thing that you struggled with the most or enjoyed most of your attention?
I think I wouldn't say greatest pain. When you go through a transformative journey like this, there will be challenges. Sometimes there will be challenges like a resistance to change. That is number one. We all know that tax morality in Namibia is not where we want it to be. I mean, the compliance rate from a tax perspective, we're talking about only about 57%, and you don't want it there. So you really want to make sure that everyone pay their fair share of taxes to the state. But also, we have also then picked up that the TEP, you collecting revenue. We've been collecting revenue over many years, but the TEP have been leaking, meaning that there have been many people from different institutions, be it from public sector or private sector, who have been getting refunds that they are not entitled to. So, in as much as law-abiding citizens are paying what is due to the state, you have then a large number of those people who have been getting refunds that they are not entitled to. That is a very serious concern. Then you have the issue of undervaluation of imported goods and so on. So compliance, and also making people to understand the importance of being compliant and paying taxes as well, because the revenue that we collect, that is what the state used to buy medicine, to make sure that our teachers are paid, to make sure that the police is provided with sufficient budget, and the army, so that we can have peace and security. And of course, you wish that your processes would have been re-engineered and be in a position to give an efficient service like yesterday, but it's something that takes time. So changing the culture to the new culture of a world-class service delivery, because we are required by the law to improve service delivery. One just wish that that which we are aiming to achieve would have been achieved yesterday or last year already.
Let's conclude on this one. You keep referring, and it's contained in your mission, the world-class status that you aspire for. Is this just a word, or is there action following that?
Oh, man, definitely action following that. That's why when we talk about a world-class revenue agency, remember that there is nothing like a world-class institution on itself. A world-class or a center of excellence is not represented by buildings and equipment and vehicle. It's all about people, getting the right people in the right position. So you need to get people who are able to provide world-class service. Now, in the tax administration history of this country, never in our lifetime did we even have a chartered accountant. That's just one example. But of course, already in the books of NamRA, you have now 3 chartered accountants. That's a good sign. But it's not only about chartered accountant. In all other fields that we are recruiting, be it in HR, communication, finance, domestic tax, and customs, we are trying nothing but the best that we can do to get the world-class individuals. And we are getting those. That's why some of our colleagues are already even getting opportunity to serve for the likes of SADC, SACU, and WTO. And we hope that when they come back, even though they are now considered as experts at the likes of SACU, when they come back, they will just be in a position to give world-class services. And when you then give world-class services, then you become a world-class institution. So this is definitely not world. That's why you will see we are only 19 months old, but we have already hosted the Secretary General of the World Customs Organization. We are working very closely with the likes of IMF, they are giving us all the technical training in transfer pricing, in auditing, in change management process, performance management. We are getting great support from the likes of GIZ. In the region, we are one of the few revenue authorities or revenue agency who have launched a container control program. One of the few revenue agencies that have launched and modernized custom modernization program like your advanced luring. You could already see we're supposed to be only chlorine now, but we are tired of chlorine. We even want to run. So this issue of a world class, we don't just say it, we mean it, and that's why we have already been invited within 2 weeks' time. We have been invited by ATAF, the African Tax Administration Forum, at the General Assembly, because they have heard about our story, and they have invited us to go there and share with other revenue authority on how to build a competent and cohesive team. And mind you, our team is not yet complete, but they have already got the message, and they want us to share with all other African revenue authority how to put together a very competent and cohesive team. We are very excited about that.
So you believe world-class status is possible in our lifetime then?
Oh yes, I'm 100% sure that world-class status is possible in our lifetime. Remember that whatever have been manifested, it was first conceived in someone's mind. So here at NamRA, we are very bold. We're very clear about that vision. We bought into that vision, and we're already doing things working toward achieving that world-class revenue agency. And that's why we're not comparing ourselves with the average institution, because we can be and we will be world-class. There's no doubt about that.
As we leave this one, what would be your final message?
My final message is just to inform the Namibian people that NamRA is your institution. NamRA is here to serve in the best interest of the Namibian people. All the revenue that we collect does not even go to the NamRA account, it goes straight to the state, so that the state would be capacitated to provide public services and ensure that people like your elders and those who are dependent on a social grant, with people who ought to have been destitute will not get into that line because of NamRA have collected the state revenue for that. So in conclusion, once again, just really to emphasize that at NamRA, we are very happy that we have created yet another platform, NamRA Kachenu, so that we can be sharing tax information, tax system information, tax law to the taxpayer, educate them and empower them. And they must understand that we want to improve what we call voluntary tax compliance. We want to look at the taxpayer as partners. We need to work together. We need to hold hands and move into the same direction. And we want to encourage all of them to comply with tax law. And I thank them very much.
Mr. Chiwute, let me thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was the NamRA Commissioner, Sam Chiwute, reflecting on the establishment of NamRA. We continue in a moment. Keep watching.
We administer tax and custom laws so efficiently and consistently. We are ethical, effective in changing lives. We are there for you. This is your revenue.
NamRA, serving with passion to positively impact the livelihood of every Namibian.
The NamRA Board of Directors was appointed in December 2018 to serve as the governing body for the Revenue Agency and to advise the Minister of Finance on any policies related to revenue collection. Now here are the members of the NamRA board. We are slowly but surely approaching the end of our show, but here is our tax and duty trivia.
Did you know the first known system of taxation was in ancient Egypt around 3000 to 2800 BC in the first dynasty of the Old Kingdom of Egypt? The earliest and most widespread forms of taxation were the corvée and the tithe. Sales taxes, tolls, and duties on transported goods were paid in cash at city gates, port city harbors, markets, village fairs, and toll stations along the trade routes.
NamRA. Saving with passion.
Almost at the end of the show. But before we go, here's this edition's question.
Here's the question for today's episode. When was NamRA launched? Kindly email your answer to namrakachenu@namra.org.na by the 31st of October 2022. The winner will be announced in the next episode.
With all that, we have come to the end of this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. But until then, thank you for watching and take care.
Giving fairness and equality to our nation, we appreciate